Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about a conversation you probably don't know about, but you should. You definitely should. It was between the former Secretary of Defense, General Mattis, and a guy named Michael Vickers. This conversation wasn't a PR thing, it wasn't something that was designed to go out over the wire and make a statement. It was on the OSS Society webcast. The OSS is the Office of Strategic Services. Back in the day, it was the beginning of the U.S. military's journey into special operations. All of the cool, special, spooky military units that exist today, they can all kind of trace their lineage back to the OSS. It was the days of glorious amateurs, the PhDs who could win a bar fight. That's really how they tried to recruit them. So the OSS Society is an organization that just tries to keep their history alive. Not a huge audience. Okay? This wasn't grandstanding. Just these two guys having a conversation. And they discussed everything you would imagine men like them would discuss. The external issues the United States is likely to face, the move to near peers, all of that stuff. And then they talked about internal issues. And that's when it got interesting. General Mattis expressed concern about the erosion of, to use his words, the underpinnings of our democracy. And what we saw on January 6th, fomented by a sitting president. Fomented by a sitting president. I guess we know how he would vote if he was in the Senate. He didn't really pull any punches when he was describing the internal issues. He specifically mentioned racists and those who believe in wild theories. For Vickers' part, he pointed out that our oath to the Constitution is against all enemies, foreign or domestic. And then he went on to say that even in his worst nightmares, he couldn't imagine that we would witness an insurrection against our government incited by some of our top leaders. Leaders, plural. You know, Vickers doesn't have the same public profile that Mattis does. Not as many people know who he is. So a quick biography, because I mean, if you're going to make a claim like that, you better have some experience, right? In 1973, he joined U.S. Army Special Forces, started as enlisted, became an officer. He went on to become a SAD boy, Special Activities Division with Central Intelligence. He was involved in Afghanistan the first time against the Soviets. Under Bush Jr., he became Assistant Secretary of Defense for Special Operations and Low-Intensity Conflicts. That's insurrection. And under Obama, he became Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. 1973 to the Obama administration. He's been around a while. He probably knows a little bit about this, given that that's his entire resume. The PhDs who can win a bar fight of today, those who understand this stuff, they know what they saw. They know what it was, and they know where the blame lies. It's important to note that. When you are talking about it not from a political standpoint or a legal standpoint, but from a military standpoint, there's not any debate about what happened. It's also worth bringing this up because these are the type of people who would be needed if a sitting president wanted something like this to work. they're not on board with it. That was a big concern that we had to make a few videos about when all of this was going on. They're not on board with it. Those who understand how these things go do not want to see it happen in the United States. That being said, an attempt like we saw on the 6th that fails, if nobody's held accountable, it's not really a failure. It's just training. It's practice. The Republican Party is putting politics above the nation when you are talking about something that, in a non-PR setting, not really something that was designed or intended to be widely distributed, those who really understand it consider it a greater threat than any foreign power. They cannot pretend to be patriots. They cannot pretend to care about this country, or they wouldn't be putting their own political careers over the underpinnings of democracy. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.